What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. With SOD or Season of Discovery approaching in the next 3 weeks, I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there wondering, what class am I going to play? Every class looks crazy. Like, literally every class in this game has gotten completely reworked by these runes and engravings, and we're going to have a great time testing all this stuff out. I can't wait to dive in and play this and, you know, do some theory crafting and test out builds and things like that, and I'm sure you guys can either. But today, we're going to be taking a look at the Mage. Okay, so first up on our list for chest engravings for the Mage, we have Regeneration. Heals the target for 485 health over 3 seconds and applies Temporal Beacon for 30 seconds. And what Temporal Beacon does is records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chronomantic healing and divided among the caster's current Temporal Beacon targets. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put regeneration, you know, on your tanker or your partner in PvP, whatever you're doing, and then you're going to just blast with arcane damage. And blasting with arcane damage is going to heal that target, which is pretty crazy. I can't wait to see how this ability is used, especially in World PvP and Battlegrounds, because, you know, on launch we're going to have just Warsong in the game, and a lot of your BIS gear is going to come from that Warsong rep and the Ashenvale World PvP event, so I'm really curious to see how this goes. Next up on our list, we have Enlightenment. You deal 10% more damage while you have more than 70% mana. While below 30% mana, 10% of your mana regeneration continues while casting. So this is going to be really helpful for that initial pull. When you start blasting, pop all your cooldowns, you know, you get Bloodlust or whatever, you're going to be doing 10% more damage, and then let's say you drop below 30% mana, you're going to be able to regenerate that mana a lot faster now. This will make a lot more mage specs and things viable, so I can't wait to see how that plays out. And then next up on the list, we have Burnout. Increases your spell critical strike chance with all spells by 15%, but your non-periodic spell critical strikes now have an additional mana cost of 1% of your base mana, just a big damage increase right there. And then we all know it, we all love it. Any Mage player knows and loves this ability. From TBC forward, Fingers of Frost. Gives your chill effects a 15% chance to grant you the Fingers of Frost effect, which treats your next 2 spells cast as if the target were frozen. And this is going to coincide with a rune we're going to talk about in a little bit. That Fingers of Frost in vanilla is going to be absolutely nutty, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. But let's move on to the leg engravings. Okay, first up on our list for leg engravings, we have Mass Regeneration. So this is just a mass version of the other one. We'll read it. Heals all of the target player's party members within 15 yards of target player for 262 health over 3 seconds, and applies Temporal Beacon to each target for 15 seconds. Records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chronomantic healing and divided among the caster's current Temporal Beacon targets. Wow, try saying that 10 times fast. Woo, chronomantic healing. Saying that in the middle of all that while reading so fast like that is very hard. I apologize. But yeah, so just basically a mass heal version of the other regeneration. So the other one would definitely be more used when soloing or group like questing content, and then this would be used in raid-wide, maybe battlegrounds and things like that. So next up on the list, we have Arcane Surge. Unleash all of your remaining mana in a surge of energy focused at the target, dealing 95 to 111 arcane damage, increased by up to 300% based on your mana remaining. Afterward, your normal mana regeneration is activated and increased by 300% for 8 seconds. So, I'm not a retail player, but I played Dragonflight for the first month or 2 that it was out, and I played Mage. And Arcane Surge is in the game. I'm not sure when Arcane Surge entered the game, what X-Pack it was, or if it was Dragonflight, but I remember being in Arena in retail and being able to take someone from 70% health to 0 with Arcane Surge. So let's see. I'm not sure if it's tuned like that or if it's tuned down a little bit for vanilla purposes, but if it's that strong or even close to that strong, it's going to be pretty wild to see. There's going to be some mages out there one-shotting people. So I'm pretty excited to see how that plays out. Next up on the list, we have Living Flame. Summons a Spellfire Flame that moves toward the target, leaving a trail of Spellfire. This trail deals 42 spellfire damage every second to nearby enemies and lasts 20 seconds. Now this one, I don't really see a purpose in using this in dungeons or raids really, unless it scales super crazy and ends up doing a ton of damage. But in world PvP and battlegrounds, Living Flame is going to be a pretty cool spell, so I can't wait to see that used. And then for the leg enchants, last but certainly not least, we have Icy Veins. You know it, you love it. Icy Veins hastens your spellcasting, increasing spellcasting speed by 20% and reducing the pushback suffered from damaging attacks while casting by 100%. So now we have Icy Veins, Fingers of Frost, Arcane Surge, all this stuff in vanilla. Mages are going to be absolutely popping off, doing ridiculous amounts of damage both in PvP and PvE. So let's move on to the hand engravings. Now here's where stuff gets really interesting, and I'm going to save the best for last here. So first up on our list, we have Rewind Time. Your current target with your temporal beacon instantly heals all damage taken over the last 5 seconds. Ineffective on targets that did not have a temporal beacon 5 seconds ago. So this is going to coincide with anything that puts a temporal beacon on a target. You're going to be able to kind of rewind time and heal any damage. Like, so let's say you know your buddy is being trucked by a warrior, goes from 100 to 20% real quick. You have a temporal beacon on him. You hit rewind time. Your buddy kind of just completely rewinds back to full health, and you kind of reset the fight. It's going to be pretty awesome to see that used in PvP and even in some raid mechanics if they change some things especially. Next up, we have Living Bomb in vanilla. The target becomes a living bomb, taking 142 fire damage over 12 seconds. After 12 seconds, or when the spell is dispelled, the target explodes, dealing 72 fire damage to all enemies within 10 yards. Pretty awesome to see Living Bomb in vanilla. It's one of my favorite mage spells in the game. I do have a fire mage that I played for the first few phases of Wrath, and it has just been bonkers, and it's even crazier in ICC, so I can't wait to see that being used in vanilla as well. And then next up on the list, we have Arcane Blast. Blast the target with energy, dealing 190 to 221 arcane damage. Each time you cast Arcane Blast, the damage and healing of your other arcane spells is increased by 15%, and mana cost of Arcane Blast is increased by 175%. Effect stacks up to 4 times and lasts 6 seconds or until another arcane damage or healing spell is cast. We all know and love Arcane Blast, so it's good to see that in vanilla as well. It seems like we could do like some pretty cool arcane builds here, which I would love to see in vanilla. And then last, yes, I saved it for last but certainly not least, we have Ice Lance. We have Ice Lance in vanilla WoW. Deals 23 to 27 frost damage to an enemy target, causes triple damage against frozen targets. And you guys remember Fingers of Frost, you know, procs, and it makes your spells treat the target as if they were frozen, even if they're not. So yeah, Ice Lance in vanilla on mages, Living Bomb, Icy Veins, Fingers of Frost. Mages really did get pretty lucky here. They have some crazy stuff, and I cannot wait to see. I'm sure all of you mage players out there are super stoked, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably level every class to 25 on stream in the first 2 weeks of the release of SOD, just because I want to try everything. It all seems so fun, so I can't wait to see that. But if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really does help me out a lot. And drop some comments down below. If you got nothing to say, drop an emoji. The engagement just helps me out with the algorithm. And consider subscribing to the channel and turning on post notifications so you guys don't miss the next time I post a video. I will be covering every single class going forward, and then even after Season of Discovery launches, I'll be putting out content on a daily basis for you guys, and I really appreciate the support and the love I'm getting for all these videos. It really does mean the world to me. I'm glad you guys enjoy them. But if you guys want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. But anyways, guys, that's all from me. Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.